Having just moved, I thought I would check out my surroundings. I knew I was only a mile from the sea, so I thought a walk to see it would be nice. I finished my cup of tea, put on my coat, said goodbye to the cat and set off. I knew roughly the direction I should go in, and walking past some of the houses on my road, I saw a postman. So I asked him for the shortest route to the sea by foot. He said, "Go down here, through the park and keep going." I quickly arrived at the park and was quite surprised to see how big it was. There were cricket and football pitches marked out, and a cricket pavilion with changing rooms next door. The other side of the park, there were children's swings and climbing frames all in use. The children seemed to be enjoying it. I sat and watched a cricket match for a while. They all looked good in their whites. After a while, I thought it was time to move on. As I reached the other side of the park, I saw a church next to it. It was obviously very old, as it had a yew tree in the graveyard which looked very old. The gravestone markings were nearly unreadable, but I could just make out the date, 1510. They were covered in moss. Well, after that amount of time they would be. Opposite was a lane with 1 or 2 houses, so I carried on down there. On the left was a field with horses grazing. I walked up to the fence, and the nearest horse came over to me. I stroked him and gave him one of my biscuits which I had bought as a snack. On the right was a house that looked as though it had been converted, as it had a door on the first floor where hay would have been passed through for storage. There were pots of flowers outside by the front door which looked very pretty. A short way down the lane there was a small bridge. At the top I could see a train track down below. I thought I'd wait to see if a train came along. After only 5 minutes there was a steam train. It was a heritage line. I waved to the driver and he waved back. The bridge was covered in smoke. It was a while before I could stop coughing. As I walked down the bridge, the lane narrowed with a wood on one side, which looked quite dense, and a large house on the other with show jumps for horse riders in the distance. Some stables nearby were being cleaned. Further on, the track opened up to what looked like a disused railway track, where the rails had been removed. There was a group of people walking just in front of me. They were all chattering and seemed very friendly. One of them called to me to join them. I said thank you, thinking I would be glad of the company. As we walked along, I got talking to one of them, and he said he was here visiting his relatives, pointing to the rest of the group. He said he was going to enjoy the countryside and was hoping to see the sea. But this was a lot different to his home, which was Canada. He said if they go for a walk in the countryside where he lived, they had to look out for wild animals. One of the ladies said she wouldn't like that. All they have to look out for here is rabbits, she said with a laugh in her voice. At the end of the track there were a few houses, and we joined a tarmac road, which led through to more fields. We left the road to follow a well-worn path to some sand dunes. We knew we were in the right direction, as we could smell and hear the sea. Over the top of the dunes, we saw the beach leading to the sea, with large waves crashing on the beach. The rest of the group were heading to a fairground in the distance on the left, so I said goodbye to them and thanked them for their company. As I walked along the beach, the sand shimmered and the sea glinted blue, looking lovely. I felt so lucky to live nearby, thinking how often I could come here. I followed the beach for a while, and as I walked around a headland, I saw a pub, thinking this gets even better. I ordered a beer and some lunch, and asked the landlord if I could phone for a taxi. After lunch, the taxi arrived, and I went home feeling, what a lovely day, and look forward to a nice cup of tea when I got home.